أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. You are welcome to our class for today. So in the last class, we've introduced ourselves to chemistry. So we've defined chemistry, the branches of chemistry, the careers in chemistry, and in the last class as well, we discussed the scientific method of discovery. So today, our topic is laboratory apparatus and their uses. Laboratory apparatus and their uses. So tí ẹ bá gbàgbé last class, so our scientific method, ó níbi tí wọ́n gbé ń carry experiments, tí wọ́n gbé ń perform experiments. So àwọn ibi tí wọ́n gbé ń perform experiments yìí, so ní tí a ń pè ní laboratory. And chemistry, as a science subject, has to do with practicals. So the place where we carry out these practicals are known as laboratory. The chemistry laboratory is a place where we conduct experiments to test theory and discovery new things. So the agreement test, test eléyìí bó ló ṣe rí báyìí, eléyìí bó ló ṣe rí báyìí. And to do this safely and effectively, we need to know the name and the uses of various pieces of equipment or apparatus. So our materials tí a máa ń lò in this laboratory is what we call apparatus. So these materials are known as the apparatus or equipment. So in chemistry, we normally call them apparatus. So we want to introduce all these apparatus to us and know their uses, so that by the time we get to the laboratory, we will be able to identify them and the way we will handle each of these apparatus. The common laboratory apparatus and their uses. So the number one here is beaker. As you can see it, that's the diagram of a beaker. It's a cylindrical glass container with a flat bottom and a lip for pouring. So that be cup and it is a glass, just like a glass cup. It is used for holding, mixing, and eating liquid. It is not for precise measurement. So that's what I said to calibrate here. So my principal máa fi measure. So a máa fi hold the chemical. Tàbí tá bá fẹ́ mix chemical papọ̀. So a fi máa mix chemical papọ̀. So tá bá fẹ́ heat nígbà míì náà. So we normally use it to heat. That is the function of a beaker. It is a glass apparatus. Number two is a conical flask. A conical flask is a flask with a wide, flat bottom and narrow neck. So to be honest, we don't that the cups cup. So it is used mainly for titration. So to mix the acid or to hold the base during the titration. So as a man lo conical flask yìí, so nígbà tí a bá ṣe titration, so náà ní calibration àti náà ṣe measurement, ìgbà tí wọ́n ń take àwọn pour chemical sínú rẹ̀ just to hold the chemical like that of the first one. It's a flask. The number three is a test tube. It's a small finger-like glass tube, open at one top and closed at the bottom. So the glass lona onígbòlórí and close ní nídìí lọ́dà bí ìkànnì. It is used for holding small amount of chemical for eating or testing. So chemical la máa ń dà sínú sí yẹn náà. So tá a bá fẹ́ test fún chemical, so ìgbà la máa ń fi chemical sí tágbé test fún. So tá a bá sì fẹ́ heat chemical náà, so náà ní tí a sábà máa fi máa heat chemical, so during the experiments. So the next one is a measuring cylinder, ungraduated cylinder. A tall cylindrical glass or glass container with the spots for pouring and marked with volume measurements. It is for measuring the volume of a liquid with a moderate degree of accuracy. So kò sí bá a ṣe fẹ́ máa lo chemical in a chemistry laboratory. So yóò ní àwọn quantities àwọn tí a fẹ́ lò. So if we need to measure the quantity of a chemical that we want to use, so we normally use measuring cylinder. So we have different sizes of a measuring cylinder. So that will be 10 milliliter, 20 milliliter, 25 milliliter, 50, 100, 1000. So depending on the measurement you want to take. So if I want to take a measurement of a chemical that you want to use, we normally use measuring cylinder. The next one is a burette. A burette is a long, narrow glass tube with a stopcock at the bottom. So the glass apparatus of the only tap, so nísàlẹ̀. So only the look at the chemical sínú rẹ̀. So no tap ìsàlẹ̀ yẹn onímọ̀ open tí chemical yẹn fi máa jáde. It is used to deliver a precise measure and fluid volume of a liquid, especially during titration. So during titration, so burette la máa ń lo ibẹ̀ la máa ń rọ acid sí tá a fi máa ń take measurement acid eléyìí tá a máa lò to neutralize the base. So it is used to put the acid during titration and to take the measurement of the acid used. So eléyìí ni tí burette tí ó wà fún. The next one is a pipette. A pipette is a small glass tube used to measure and transfer a precise fixed volume of a liquid from one container to another, precisely used to transfer the volume of a base during titration. So gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe ṣàlàyé síwájú, so inú burette ibẹ̀ la máa dá acid sí, tá a máa take measurement of the acid, and we use this pipette to take the measurement of a base, and this one it has a fixed measurement. So tá a máa take látara rẹ̀. So depend on the burette, we have 20 centimeter cube and we have 25 centimeter cube. So we are now take measurement base into the beaker or conical flask. Eléyìí tí a bá fẹ́ fi ṣe titration before we start pouring the acid into it. So the next one is a aerator stand. So a aerator stand is a fundamental piece of a laboratory equipment used to provide stable support for other apparatus during experiments. A aerator stand is used to secure a burette, ensuring it remains vertically and stable for accurate dispensing of liquid. So mainly in chemistry, ibi tá a gbé sábà máa ń lo aerator stand yìí jù, òun náà ni during the titration, òun la fi máa ń hold the burette wa tí ó fi wà stand upright dáadáa. So láti lè jẹ́ kí a rí measurement wa take bó ṣe yẹ kí a take rẹ̀. So ibi ìwé kí o bá rí tó dàbí ẹgbẹ́ yẹn, so ibẹ̀ la máa fi burette wa sí, so tàbí máa tight rẹ̀ pa, so ló máa hold burette wa, so tí ó máa hold rẹ̀ dúró, so tí a fi máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ titration wa. So the next one is a funnel. So funnel àti rọ is a cone shaped utensil with a narrow tube at the bottom. It is used for transferring liquid from a wide-mouthed container to a narrow-mouthed one without spillage, and for filtration when lined with filter paper. So àwọn nǹkan méjì la sábà máa ń fi funnel yìí ṣe in chemistry. So alákọ̀ọ́kọ́ during the titration, òun la máa fi sí ẹnu burette wa. Ẹni pé burette ta ní lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn ẹnu rẹ̀ kọ́. So funnel yìí la máa place into it, so tá a fi máa rọ acid wa sínú rẹ̀. Likewise, during the filtration, nígbà tá a bá fẹ́ ṣe filtration, so eléyìí funnel yìí òun la máa gbé bọ́nú test tube, bọ́nú test tube wa náà ẹnu tí ẹnu kékeré ni. So funnel yìí la máa gbé síbẹ̀ tá a fi máa filter paper sí nínú funnel before we pour the chemical that we want to filter into it. So that is the function of a funnel. Tripod stand. It's a three-leg stand used to support a wire gauze and a beaker or flask over a Bunsen burner. So if you can see it, so dàbí àdògán tí wọ́n ń gbé nǹkan kà lórí. So eléyìí náà sábà máa fi heat ni. So ìsàlẹ̀ rẹ̀ yẹn ibẹ̀ la máa gbé bottom burner tó máa supply heat wá sí. Òkè rẹ̀ yẹn ibẹ̀ la máa gbé tí a fẹ́ heat sí. So ká tó gbé tá a máa heat síbẹ̀, so we put something called wire gauze. So a máa gbé sórí rẹ̀. So before we place the beaker or the flask on the top of it. So that is the function of tripod stand. So the next one is a wire gauze, as we said. So wire gauze here, so this tripod stand. Before we have to fill the heat see orí. It's a metal mesh with a asbestos center placed on a tripod stand to provide even heat distribution to a container being heated. So ṣé tí wire gauze yìí máa sọ pé kò ní jẹ́ kí iná kọ̀ọ̀kan lọ sí ojú kan, yóò jẹ́ kí ní yẹn kó spread ká torí pé a ti fi nǹkan sí tó bá ti wò ní sórí pé tó wà láàrin rẹ̀. So kí ní yẹn ló máa gbóná tó fi máa gbóná mọ́ eléyìí tí a fẹ́ heat, kò sí pé heat yẹn gangan ló máa dára beaker or conical flask wa direct. So the next one is a Bunsen burner. So Bunsen burner is a gas burner that produces a single open gas flame. It's a common heat source in the laboratory. So that's how I know in the laboratory. So that's if you heat. So just like a gas, and gas you have to read bell. So then so I will rinse when I'm connecting cylinder. So if you can only need mama daddy. So you know my gbèsè tripod stand. So tí ní mama daddy. So why I'm got about tripod stand here, we no man normalize in here. So the next one is spatula. It's a small scope like pencil used to transfer solid chemical from their container. So if you look at it, just look like a spoon. So it look like a spoon. Ilé àfihàn bu chemical báyà fẹ́ bu chemical kan láti ibìkan sí ibìkan, àwọn tó jẹ́ pé solid chemical. So àfẹ́ bù wọ́n, so tó pé nǹkan mi sọ this chemical they are dangerous láti máa fi ọwọ́ lásán mú àwọn chemical yìí. So ìjọba bí síbí là pé ní spatula ni a fi máa mú ká fi máa bù sí ibi tí àgbẹ̀fẹ́ lò. And the last one here is a mortar and pestle. So as you see the name, Odo àti ọmọ Odo. So if you look at the diagram as well, so just like a mortar and a pestle. A bow mortar is a bow or a mortar and a heavy stick, so called pestle, used for grind and crushing solid substances into a fine powder. So wáyà bí ara àwọn chemical tí àwọn ti di papọ̀, so tí ó dàbí òkúta àwa fẹ́ gùn into the powder. So mortar yìí òun ni a fi mọ gbígbà pé àwọn ìròyìn yẹn náà so láti máa gùn. So that was known as the mortar and pestle. So lẹ́yìn láti ṣàlàyé tó dàbí bò yẹn òun là ń pè ní mortar, Odo. Pestle òun ni stick tinú rẹ̀, so call that one ọmọ Odo in Yorùbá. So this is the end of the class for today. But before we go, let us look at this following question. Name 5 common laboratory apparatus and state one use for each. Number 2, explain the difference between a beaker and a conical flask, and state a specific experiment where a conical flask is preferred. So thanks for listening. So meet you in the next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.